What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Because of Sales podcast. We've got a pretty jam-packed one. In this one, we're talking about an AI tool that I built that's going to help our sales team and something that you should steal, executive presence on a sales call and how to establish that. We talk about the Pat Walls starter story sale to HubSpot and the Starbucks method. If you're not familiar, we break that down in the pod. We talk about this new trending OpenClaw use case that is Claude GTM, a little bit about vibe coding and some updates with the credit point system and what that means for business class flights and for you as a sales rep who might get those from a company or business owner who might pay for them on your own. That's what we're covering in this podcast. Before we get into it, you guys, please, as always, go down below, subscribe to the first link in the description. That is our free newsletter every Wednesday. We're sending it right to your inbox. Learn something. Maybe it helps you sell more. Maybe it helps you sell more efficiently. Maybe it helps you realize that you're in a job that you don't even like. Our whole premise is to be the pulse on the state of selling for you, the sales rep. And so every Wednesday, less than a 5-minute read straight to your inbox. Go down below, first link, subscribe now. And now let's get into the pod.
Sellers, welcome in. Welcome in number
47.
47. A few more weeks, folks. You've got down new AI build presentation on pod. What is this?
Yeah, so I told you I was up until 2 a.m. Let me see if I can find it. I'll do a little screen share.
Ooh, for those listening, we'll narrate.
So the world basically, in my eyes, just changed a lot. I built this. We have a playlist for our community business. It's 57 interviews of people that came and got success and were willing to do an interview with us. And through Claude, I custom coded a chatbot that looks really good on mobile. It's kind of optimized for mobile. If you pull it up on mobile, it looks great. It functions great, but it's tied up with transcripts, summaries, even our core offering. And so I've turned this into a lead magnet where in my YouTube, in my content, we are directing people to download this for free and to basically have the most successful minds of our sales community in their pocket at all times. They can ask it anything. So check this out. There's this prompt that says, tell me about someone like me. It says, tell me about you. Let's just say I travel a lot for work and I hate it. And it's pretty quick. And every little part of this, I customized. This was no template. So like, you're going to see the fact, like how it responds, how it types. Before it just spit everything at once. I made it type so that it would get to the answer faster. I made it so that it hyperlinks the interviews, the testimonials. I made it so that it doesn't give people's full names, just their first name and initial. And I also made it to where it only talks about the data that it specifically has. It never recommends anything. It never makes income claims. If it doesn't have an answer, it directs the user to book a call with our team to get the answer.
You're somewhat of a coder yourself.
So someone had told me about this. I was like, that's freaking crazy. Too many steps. I started talking to Claude to make a better version of a ChatGPT project, which was this success query database. And it automatically started building this for me. And it told me exactly how to put this into GitHub is where you kind of store things, and then how to connect that to Vercel. And I don't think I paid anything besides the Claude credits, but like I didn't pay anything to get this live. And so I think for salespeople, like you guys need to learn how to do this like now, yesterday. The moat for me wasn't building the code because I can go to Claude and just say, hey, build the code for this, but I don't even know what that means. The moat was like deploying it and being able to edit it really fast and for it to be accurate. And I am thoroughly impressed. And I have so many ideas for things that I can make that will make our sales process easier very quickly and give us a lot of leverage. So I know you've done quite a bit of this vibe coding, so to speak. And I see we might be talking about this a little bit later into the podcast, but have you built anything like this?
Not like this. We have a project ongoing where we are going to index against one person, which is the personal brand that leads a business that I run on the side or help run. And same type of idea. It's not a chat bot. It is specifically pulling from a first-party data source that is direct transcripts. We're actually feeding our fulfillment calls into something like this. So someone can go in and say, a client or a prospect, what actually happens inside of the program. And we'll say, oh, here are 10 examples pulled directly from fulfillment calls that we have. We have 17 of those in your first 4 months. I think the overall takeaway from here is like this does unlock sellers in a new way, removes friction. It's permissionless, right? It's a permissionless way to build things that sell for you.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a sales rep that's at a company, you've been there for a long time, or you plan on being there for a long time, doing what I just did, which is like interviewing happy clients and building something that can objection handle for you. Or I actually specifically prompted mine not to like hard sell. Like I just want it to be factual. I don't want it to make any crazy claims or guarantees or anything like that. But it's just an awesome form of leverage because face to face, over the phone, person to person communication, people always feel sales pressure, even if it's not there. I guess if they feel it, it is there. But if you can sell to people through video content, AI, something where it's like nobody can force them to take an action but themselves. I feel like people are afraid to be taken advantage of on a phone call in person, something like that. But they love to be sold to through an email because it's totally up to them to make an action. So something like this, it's like very smart, can pull up all the use cases and tell them about, all the people that made X outcome happen while they had a lot up against them. I'm really excited to see. And not only did we build this, but we put it behind an opt-in too. So nobody's using it. It's free, but nobody's using it until we get their information and then we know they're interested in the space. There's just so many use cases. If you guys want to build any custom stuff like this, my next thing to do is our website. Dude, like just little tools and widgets to like make your job easier to go and kind of sell for you, let people sell themselves. Underrated.
100% in our business right now. We are basically just building custom fit software. We have an in-house developer who was a client of ours. We figured out she had a specific skill set prior to our main ICP, which is online fitness coaches. And then a conversation happened and we're like, would you want to build this for us? And she's like, yes. And then she crushed it. We realized, oh, she's like this developer wizard. We have her on staff now. It's very uncommon for an online offer to have a developer on staff. However, she can turn around custom software in less than a week that we can then service our clients with. And so now we have 3 software products that we offer only within our private community, all profitable. And then we're launching another one to service another higher end of our client, which is basically a custom dashboard to manage clients. So we have sales agency clients. We can literally have one person in a seat and the entire operation is now a dashboard business. See how all the clients are doing, daily funnel metrics, where they need to spend their time. And this is kind of the stuff that we can do. And it enables our sellers because they can just open up the tools and show people. It's slick.
Yeah, dude, it's insane how fast this is progressing. Huge unlock. Like I knew this was possible, but huge unlock is understanding like how to deploy it and edit it very quickly.
GitHub is its own skill. Once you learn GitHub, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of understand now what I actually have to do to get something out there.
Yeah, and it's cheap, dude. As long as you don't have a million people running up your Claude API, like it's probably worth the ROI. It's probably worth your commission.
Yeah, love it. Okay. You've got executive presence on sales calls. For the listeners out there, it's a tweet from Sales and SaaS TJ. Owning an executive presence on sales calls. Set agenda, speak slowly, pause after key points, minimize and likes, cut out all fluff and speak directly, support claims with examples and metrics, be clear in your process and next steps. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, so that's from my guy TJ. He's a beast. I actually know him. If you guys don't follow him, you should. Sales X SaaS. I was going to ask you, like, what a really big unlock for you was when you started getting into like bigger deals, bigger conversations, higher stakes environments. If any of these things that he listed that you made an effort to improve and you felt like it helped you, or if there was something besides this that really helped you kind of elevate your presence on or in these interactions.
This is pretty spot on. I think the big unlock I had specifically in this was understanding that the person on the other end of who I'm usually talking with, if it is an executive conversation, is either going to be the decision maker, but not the implementer, or I'm talking to an implementer and not a decision maker. And specifically, if you're talking to a decision maker, but not implementer, focusing discovery on what would create headaches for them. So this is easy when conversations, it's like, okay, well, we're going to have Allison implement this. What challenges do you think she might face in something like this? Because what I don't want to do is create a problem you've already had. And that line of questioning, that line of thinking of like, this person's a leader. The last thing they want is more headache. And for a lot of them, software implementation or solution implementation is like just another thing. And they would rather keep their old way if it's more expensive than adopt a new way that's cheaper, whatever benefits you're trying to sell them. I guess it's the headache method. Just like save them headache and ask questions to save them headache.
I think especially if you're asking questions or proposing potential scenarios that they didn't even think about, it's like, holy shit, like this guy gets it. Like this guy has done this before. I see that. I think one thing that helped me a lot was trying to think of the right way to kind of put this, but genuinely embodying the energy and being able to display this, that you are the person that can solve the problem and they need their problem solved more than you need a commission or a sale. And it's hard to get there. And, sometimes I get on calls with people that they're like, dude, I've been seeing your stuff for years and years and years. I know you're legit. I know you've done this, this, and this. And then you get on a call with someone that knows none of that. So, posting content or being out there online definitely helps you establish this a little bit. But I think when you are talking to someone colder that doesn't come from content, they come from an email, like maybe this happened, I sent it to you. Someone wants to advertise them because of sales, obviously a cold email, probably a mass cold email. I like pitch them, throw out a price, whatever. And then it's like having to kind of give them all the reason why this is a good idea for them in a really short communication without sounding like you're boasting or bragging, but showing them that like we are kind of the good fit. Something I'm always working on, but I think it's an art being able to like prove the competency in a short time frame without coming off like you're trying to flex or something like that. There was an event, I don't know if he's going to be watching this. Last night I was at a dinner and there's a new guy that not really too many people knew. And he said, oh yeah, I do this for work. And the guy, he said, what do you do? And then my friend said like, oh, we make people like you rich. And I was like, that's not a good intro. Like it might be true, but we don't know anything about this guy. He could be 10 times more rich than all of us. So like, is that the way that you communicate the value in a short period? I don't know. But yeah, anyways, it's like poker, dude. It's like, even if you do make these people rich, it's all relative. Like, what if he's already rich? And then by you saying that, the guy's like, I don't like that. And now I don't want to work with him, even though maybe he could have been a good client. I don't know.
Frame broken forever.
Yeah. So it's like, to sum it up, the art of communicating concisely, showing competence. There's so many components to that, but that helped me a ton, I guess.
I want to stay here for a little bit longer here too. There's one thing that popped up in my head as well. I had an exercise where we had someone recently for a larger-ish deal. Their team really wanted it, but they needed sign off from the decision maker who owns the company. So I get looped in last minute on this call with this guy, with this decision maker. And there was specifically 2 areas of the call that I think that should be on this list here for executive presence. I had the frame to come in as the quote unquote executive in this. And here's what I did that I think a lot of people might miss was showed the product, displayed it, everything. But there was 2 things in particular. The first thing was I have very, very deep lived experience and awareness around this market. And so I said, hey, if you're seeing our stuff, you're likely seeing our stuff. Here's what separates us from them, in my opinion. This is not fact. We hear this from clients as well. This person does this really well. We do that at about a B+, but in a different way. This person does this really well. They do that at probably an A+. We do that at about a B. And here's why it's a B. But this one thing, we do at an A, and everyone else is about a C. We're very far ahead in this area. And so by a matter of offering all of this, we're a better solution in this way. So like market awareness and being 100% honest about that. And then the other thing I did was he asked basically a certainty question. From what I've seen, you guys seem to be really good at this. Is that the case? And I said, no, we are not good. We are the best. And he's like, that's the vibe I get. And I know it. Like I actually have proof to know it. And there's the old adage around believe in what you sell. But a lot of people just want to hop on a call and hear you say, we are the best, bar none, 100%. And they're like, okay, it's a certainty.
It's like with our community business, man, like everybody out there sells sales training. Like everybody is like, the reason you're not making 20, 30K per month is because you can't handle objections or something like that. Our approach is like, honestly, the sales training is kind of the cherry on top. We have it, but nobody joins us for sales training. Do you want to know what they join us for? Or like, do you want to know why we take this stance and why it's so successful and why we have 60 interviews of people that broke earnings milestones with us? Because we've been doing this for a long time and it works. So yeah, I think like if you can say something that's a little bit like off the wall, but then have just supreme conviction and then shift their belief that like, oh shit, maybe that actually is what I need. I mean, that's why the whole concept of like unique mechanisms is so popular in marketing and sales, because it's like there's some intrigue around it. It's like, what do you mean? Like, that's not what I know to be true. And then you start proving the point. They're like, oh wait, actually, that makes sense. And then then they're like completely bought in that that is the way. Could be used in a poor direction for sure if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, some of the biggest, best online businesses that I know, dude, they literally will scale an offer off of one unique mechanism that they thought of randomly one day. And they create this positioning, this angle, this intrigue around it. Everyone wants to be involved, and it's powerful.
Yeah. So that's what I think not as on this list for executive presence is. The conviction thing is huge and it can't be simulated. And unfortunately, if you're like 2 months into a role, it's going to be tough to do because you just don't know. But
That's why compounding, dude, eighth wonder of the world,
yeah,
underrated.
underrated compounding. Thanks, Buffett. Appreciate you.
All right, guys, quick break in the podcast for our sponsor, the Serial Sales Community. If you're listening to this, it's pretty high chances that you're a sales rep. And if you're a sales rep, there's decent chances that you're just not satisfied where you're at. Some of you guys might be exactly where you should be, and that's awesome. We're happy for you. But if you're not where you should be, you know you could have better, you know you could have more leverage, you know you could make more, you know you could work on your own schedule, all of those things that suck about some sales jobs. The Serial Sales Community helps you land sales jobs that solve a lot of those problems. So we focus on helping people break into the 1099 inbound remote closing or setting space, work from home, take Zoom calls, work from wherever you want as a contractor, take advantage of contractor benefits. It's not a bad gig for sure. So if you're interested in that, as I was, as Jake was years ago, go down below to the second link in the description. You can click on the page to learn more about what we do, how it works. And if it feels like a good fit, book a call. Just mention because of sales, we'll give you a little discount. Now back to the pod.
All right, I've got Pat Walls. So for those out there that don't know, Pat Walls is a guy that runs a more or less YouTube channel called Starter Story. And typically it was stories, 0 to 1 stories of entrepreneurs, specifically in like online business and digital business. He just sold the HubSpot for an undisclosed amount, probably north of 8 figures, I have to imagine, just based on the previous acquisitions they've made and his audience size. There's a thread on Twitter and he tells the whole story. Go look at it if you want to. But there's specifically 2 takeaways, I think, for our audience. I think a large portion of you guys out there do have a desire to start some sort of side income on the side, take your earnings from sales, take the skill set of sales, and start to diversify, just like you would with your portfolio. I think Pat Walls' method for this, I call it the Starbucks method, I think he does as well, is the first route to this. And so the specific insight I have is for 1 year, every single day while working a 9 to 5, he woke up early and was at Starbucks at opening, and he worked only on his side business before work every day for a year. Now, the takeaway is, are you willing to do that for a year? The other takeaway is his payout from that at the end of that year was around 3 to 4K per month. But that was the foundation and that was his starting point. Would you have signed up for this if you were going to be Pat Walls?
Yeah, I would have, but maybe this is just my mature business ownership mind now. It's like, dude, literally what we were just saying, it compounds. And if you know that you're in the right vehicle, it's kind of like what we're doing with Because of Sales here. Like transparently, we're pretty poor here, but we're building the foundation to not be poor. And we're taking the steps to not be poor every day in terms of this business. And so there's certain games where you can see there's kind of like, it's slow, it's quiet. You showed me the graph from his thread, I think, where like it was pretty stagnant, up and to the right, but like barely. And then he did one thing and boom, overnight, doubled revenue. And I think that's what it takes, man. And like once you start to do that, you get those little wins, you get those proof of concepts, then you become like the person, you genuinely start believing this. You are the person that can do this kind of thing. And it just gets easier and easier. But the first time is hard, dude. And I've been there, not Starbucks at 6 a.m. or whatever, but it's worth it for sure.
Always. I would not have. I mean, I don't know, probably in my season of life now, I would have and know that that's worth it. I did something similar, but not that. That's what I've learned in the hard way. The other takeaway was the Pat Walls story is like, okay, this digital nomad entrepreneur, sure, he's like a marketing guy and a branding guy, whatever. The next phase of growth that got them into the territory to begin compounding at the rate that would warrant a HubSpot exit is he and a homie spent 6 months traveling and literally knocking on doors of business owners. Sales activity, man. Just go hit the doors. So that's why he's successful. It's like, would you show up at Starbucks every day before your 9 to 5 for a year for the payoff of 3 to 4K a month? And would you quit your job and go knock doors for 6 months? Because that's what it takes.
I know some people, man, that do good money and with the remote sales thing, like actually, one of these guys, he's an account executive. And for the last year, he's been a DM setter on the side and he makes about in that range, I would want to say part-time. And he's like, dude, covers my rent, covers my bills. my groceries and more, I'm getting ahead by doing this. He doesn't want any more. I think, if you can get that side 3 to 4K per month, it changes a lot. Then your job becomes the fun money that allows you to take bigger bets, right? Or you could eventually quit and put that back into the business. I think it's underrated for sure. Why don't you think you would have, like, let's imagine a younger career oriented Jake, 3 to 4K per month. Are you too good for it? What's the holdup here?
I don't think I could justify that being a big enough payout. I think from the previous version of me early in my career, I was very status focused just because the world I came from. That was my mistake. And I had buddies in banking, and it was a positive and a negative. Like, I was like, I'm going out with them, getting Miller Lights, and they're out here, spending the company card. I don't belong in this circle. It was part of the reason I changed a lot of things, but I didn't think I understood compounding at the level that I would need to make a decision like that. Now that I do, I actively seek out those things of like, what game of attrition can I get into where other people would quit before I'm even ready to, like, I'm just getting going. That's what I'm about now.
This reminds me of the old African proverb, and this would probably be something that I would hope my younger self would think of as I'm in a position like this, which is not every lion who chased the zebra caught it, but every lion who caught the zebra chased it. So every person that ever did this side hustle to get out of the job, they had to put the time up. They had to make a little side money first. I don't know. I mean, there probably are cases now, especially with AI, but like where people just overnight make insane money and quit. So like I feel like if making 3 to 4K per month and being at Starbucks at 6 a.m. was a 95% of the time prerequisite for me to do bigger and better things, I would just do it. Not overthink it.
Good for Pat. Sellers, keep selling, dude. The lever will always be sales. Whatever vehicle, there's just going to come a point in time where you just got to sell.
It's a beautiful thing, man. You can get leverage in the sales job, get the money and the time flexibility to do something like this if you want to. It's one of the few jobs where you can do that.
Good job, Pat. Pat, whenever you're ready, we'll have you on the pod. Appreciate you. Okay. You've got Claude GTM. Open Claude turned into an autonomous sales agent. It's called Claude GTM. What is this?
Let me see if I can find the site. Yeah, there's this tweet and this gentleman, Nav Tor. I could be completely butchering that, but OpenClaw for sales from one URL. This thing mapped his ICP, found 47 companies with buying signals, researched each account automatically, and generated personal email plus LinkedIn outreach. No prospecting, no spreadsheets, no generic outreach. And okay, it is a paid partnership, so they got some money now. If you guys look up clawgtm.com, honestly, the site is going to tell you a lot more than I could on the podcast. But yeah, up top here, they raised a pre-seed from Y Combinator, and their headline is deploy an OpenClaw agent to fill your pipeline in 60 seconds.
By the way, do you know how Y Combinator works? And then specifically how that 1.7 pre-seed works?
I don't know.
It's savage. If the information is still true from a couple years ago, I knew people in Y Combinator. I was in a previous company that explored this and actually turned it down for this reason. When people say they raised money from Y Combinator, and again, I could be wrong, Michael Seibel, I could be wrong. Sorry, buddy. But that 1.7 million pre-seed is the total amount of funding you could get and is committed to you. But it requires a 7% week over week growth rate.
Damn. Is that a new requirement? Because that's pretty aggressive.
That was, I think, historically, and I believe still is the requirement for a Y Combinator for the funding. Like, you don't get the 1.7 check right away and say go. It's in tranches. So it's like, okay, you get 350 if and when you grow by 7% every week this month. That's why they crash and burn quite often. And that's why they have 5 winners that basically paid for the entire Y Combinator brand name, Stripe being one of them. Isn't that crazy? So like, yeah, here's your check. Now go grow 7% this week and do it the next week and do it the next week and do it the next week.
I actually didn't even know that they were backed by Y Combinator. I know someone who's a sales manager for a Y Combinator backed company. He's young too. He's a killer. I have an interview coming out with them next week.
No way. Are they in like a current cohort right now, or is it like Y Combinator funded?
I didn't really ask him, to be honest. When we do our interviews, we don't really talk too much about the businesses just for like personal reasons. But yeah, I'm actually going through the sign up flow right now on, wow, dude, I think it's going to send emails for me. But I just opted in. I got a 2-factor, and the 2-factor came from Roger AI SDR. So maybe a little pivot here. HireRoger.com. What is HireRoger.com?
Let's go find out.
Hire an AI outbound sales rep as your next coworker. Huh. Interesting.
Huh. Can I read you some of the comments as Cope from this?
Yeah.
This one from, I won't put him on blast. One of the comments goes, autonomous outbound is great until it discovers the forbidden growth hack. Emailing the same VP 9 times from 7 different departments. That's good.
That's funny. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, I think there's something here, but I had a friend last night kind of breaking down his OpenClaw setup, and it's pretty crazy, dude. He's a software developer, and he was at dinner just like building multiple software apps by talking to his custom iMessage app that he coded with this.
Can you repeat that one more time for the listeners out there?
Yeah.
Walk me through it. Paint me the picture. What's he have on his plate? Is he drinking some wine? What's he texting?
We were doing kind of like steak potatoes, like a chill home dinner, like just got a group of guys together and did that. Well, he's on Discord and iMessage, sending voice notes, telling it to make changes. And he's a software developer. That's how he's been making money for a long time. He went to school for like network engineering or something. But he's like, yeah, dude, like I literally don't build software anymore. I just orchestrate it pretty much.
I just got chills.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Here's the takeaway I take from that. Our audience is sellers. We're telling you, hey, go learn this skill set. Dylan did it overnight. If Dylan can do it, you can do it. Go learn GitHub. But what you're saying is software engineers are also doing this?
Yeah, more than us. I actually think software engineering jobs are more at risk than sales jobs by far.
By far. I agree as well.
We had a thesis around this.
I 100% still believe this, by the way. That's crazy. So he comes to a dinner, entrepreneurs or whatever, just a dinner, homies dinner. He's not swiping on Tinder. He's not sports betting. He's not over here just being a degen. He's going, adding enterprise value from the palm of his hand.
There was a degenerate component to this, which is one of the sites that he was building just for fun, I guess, was like a poly market. Like it would basically go on Polymarket, find like bets where the odds are higher than, or like they're very likely to hit with a rating. And it would rank them across all of Polymarket. Like, hey, here's the bet where like the odds are off the most and get in on these if you'd like in this descending order. And he was building that. He's like, yeah, right now this thing, it's like, it says it's a high bet because it's saying the weather is not going to be 221 degrees Fahrenheit when it's actually like, it wasn't really understanding the bets. And he's like fixing it in real time.
Jesus.
Crazy, dude. And, good presentation in terms of like the website that it was built on, the user interface, all of that. It's just crazy, dude. Like stay in sales and tinker around with this stuff on the side and you can become rich. Like that chatbot that I made.
Yeah.
I could post that out right now, or I could take that to like some agency Facebook group and sell it for $3,000 to 10 people, like life or death, gun to my head. I could sell that for $3,000 to 10 people by this time next week because I know how to sell. Coding is not the moat. At this point, sales is, I know how to create a value prop. So,
by the way, is that a pitch? Because I might be a buyer.
Dude, let me know.
This goes into my next one, which is I put vibe coding as a distraction. This is very good. Man, all right. Zooming out one more. Again, this is not an AI podcast, but AI and selling. The worlds are shared more and more every single day. I am purposefully an AI bear in a lot of ways because it makes me be productive and pick the tools that I think matter the most. A version of me a couple months ago, maybe this time last year, probably was vibe coding as a distraction without understanding where the value actually lies. I see a lot of people right now pivoting away from compounding a sales skill set into turning vibe coding or even understanding these tools at scale as the main thing. I think that's a huge mistake, and having borderline almost approached that mistake myself. If you don't understand the fundamentals of selling and building before you go vibe code, I think you'll regret it. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I get approached by these people, dude. They build like cool little software gadgets. They don't know how to get people to want them for the life of them. And then they die,
Yeah. The tools, not those people.
Yeah. The tools.
Okay. You're going to get a door knock here soon.
I think it's better to have the ability, and you should never do this, but it's better to be able to sell something that isn't A++ than to have something that is A++ but not be able to sell it. Everyone has different standards, but like, dude, if you have a B+ product and you're pitching it as a B+ product, there's nothing wrong with that. There's still a lot of people that might be at a C- level that would love your B+ product. So yeah, dude, I think you got to focus on the highest order of operation,
100%. Maybe for the younger listeners out there, we're young men ourselves, but there's guys, early 20s getting their career started, leaving college, or maybe even skipping college and going into sales. Shout out. There was a world that we grew up in where almost every at scale software product was a B or B plus product. And they sold it as that. And that's how they grew the product was like, hey, the product is imperfect, but the problem that we solve is so big. We will wait for our engineers to polish the product into A plus, but the problem is an A plus problem that we can solve now with just the product as is. And that's how everything was done. I think we might be losing that a little bit with everything having polish on the outside. It's a nice polished piece of crap. That is the actual edge, is learning to sell and how to position a product and making it flashy later.
Yeah, I think also some people that fall into that category of great builder can't really sell all that well. It's because they like hyper fixate on making the product better and better and better. And before they know it, they're in the weeds so deep that they're working on something that's making a 0.05% difference versus something that is like 30% of the equation, like marketing or sales. So I think it's a good skill to stack. And you mentioned you're a bear in some regards, and I'm kind of the same way, man. Like it's moving so fast. The reason why I kind of pushed through on this coding project is because I feel like we kind of hit a checkpoint. Right? Like the checkpoint is the coding stuff is here. The quick deploy stuff is here. Now I'm not on the, like this OpenClaw thing. I haven't used that personally, the GTM bot. Like that's something where it's like a little bit more cutting edge. I'd probably like to see how it plays out before I commit my time and resources to it, you know? So I agree with you on that. But I feel like we're at that point where it's like, if you want to be a top performer, it's not entirely about your ability to like hustle and grind and to handle objections the best. It's your ability to use the tools to gain the leverage so that you can do more. Like that is the era that we're in, I think.
Definitely. Don't get distracted, folks. Keep selling. The tools you want to build, I believe, are going to be obvious, and then go build them. You've got a death of business class seats. What's this about? Oh, hold on. As preface, as a 6'8" traveler with a 38, 39-inch inseam, please tell me about this because I might be worried.
Are you not in the loop with any of this?
No.
Okay, good. There's just been some fear mongering going around on Twitter lately about how Meta is no longer letting certain people, they didn't specify, but Meta's not allowing credit cards for ads anymore, which means the points. That is like the best part of running ads or running marketing is you throw it on a gold Amex, you get 4x points, you convert those to airline points, free flights. Like I run a decent sized business, nothing too crazy. I have like 2 million Amex points. Like I won't be paying for a flight for a really long time. And it's because for the last 2 or 3 years, I literally just ran the business that I was already going to run, but paid for it on an Amex and then paid it off every month. Right. So there's some stuff about like, oh, okay, this only happens once you're at a certain account size, which I've actually heard of that being true. Like if you spend, $500,000 a month, like, dude, they're not going to want to eat credit card fees on that. I haven't seen anything definitive for the younger or the lower budget spenders. And when I say lower budget, like not $500,000 a month, but this is going to affect, like, even if you guys aren't the ones spending on it, like you're not the business owner, this affects the businesses as well. Like all you salespeople that get to travel with nice seats everywhere for free, dude, get ready for 32C.
This is crazy. Wait, think about how much pipeline out there is made possible by credit cards. First of all, as someone who's about to scale into paid ads, this is detrimental news. I hope this is not the case for us.
I promise you, if this is like in worldwide effect, when you walk past the business class or the first class business class, when you get on a plane and you're like, oh, these people look cozy. They're all settled in. Those seats are about to be empty on a lot of flights or like primarily empty. And there's always like some old people. It's like, hey, I don't really have much better to spend my money on. I'm about to be out of here, so I'll get the nice seat. But when you see these young people in these seats, dude, whether they're like business owners or, potentially salespeople, it's all points, especially with the international travel. Like if you're familiar with that conversion stuff.
Yeah, this is horrible news. Well, maybe for the big fella, it's pretty good news. Maybe that means prices go down for these upgrades.
Maybe that's what that means. Yeah. I feel like a lot of companies buy flights for their salespeople through these points.
100%. Wow. Okay. I'm going to need an update on that, how that goes, because it's either good news or bad news for me or both.
I tried to find more on it, but I couldn't. So that's why I don't think it's like a mass thing, but they were basically saying like April 1st is the deadline. Like you need to switch to ACH payments or else your account will be paused.
That's going to be huge. I mean, tale as old as time. You use money you don't have to make money that you don't have yet. Buying a billboard back in the days was doing that. Like you put it on the card. You don't pay for marketing with cash. A lot of times, it's very rare. Whoa.
So I'm talking about it as it might affect the salespeople or the business owners, but what you're mentioning is what some people have brought up, which is like it completely changes the economics of getting a business off the ground or scaling a business. Like you have to have that cash on hand if this is the case. I mean, something to adjust to if it becomes real. But like I've been in my ad accounts, I haven't seen anything. I guess they're just, I don't make enough money yet, maybe, but I won't argue with it, you know?
That's crazy. If everyone is forced to bootstrap with cash, that's a huge deal. Huge deal. I mean, that's a hard thing to do is bootstrap. Like, hey, go make money from thin air and then use that money to go get the growth that you've never had. That's the whole point of credit. Interesting.
Hot take, dude. I think people should learn how to run profitable businesses.
Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, a lot of you software guys, man, you'd be raising all this money, doesn't work out, and yeah, next thing you know, you got YC knocking at your door.
Yeah.
Where's our 7%, man?
For real, I'm telling you. That's why they're the funding mafia, you know? It's like, "Hey, we'll work with you. We'll protect you. It's gonna cost you weekly. Where's my envelope?" This is crazy. Here we come back. It's about compounding, it's about cash, and it's about just doing it the slow way is the fast way now. Yeah. All right, I need an update. In 2 weeks, episode 40, give me an update on this, what you're seeing, what we're seeing on we'll come back to this because this is
Yeah, hopefully it's not bad news. That would be a bummer, dude. That's like one of the like hidden perks of running an online business and starting that side hustle is when you start running ads, this is like free money. The points don't go very far on like direct transfer. There's like methods around this, right? But you can use them to buy things on Amazon. And every time I go on Amazon, I get to select a card and then it tells me my point balance and how much stuff on Amazon I could buy. I could basically buy like $14,000 worth of free stuff on Amazon just because I pay for this on my credit card and then pay it off. Like I'm moving the same money that I'd move otherwise. And I just have 14,000 free dollars of Amazon stuff, which by the way is probably not the best use of the points. So I don't spend them there, but it's wild, dude.
our version of that is we have like a Delta credit card I've had for a while, and it allows us to basically get half off of rooms for Marriott. So I can get a nice room anywhere, last minute notice, couple days notice, flight cancel, whatever, for like $100. And you get a nice hotel for a motel rate. And that's the version of that I like.
I haven't looked into the hotel. So I know there's like deals with the points.
Yeah.
I think that's probably next.
It's slick. It's like I've walked into like a king suite for $100 before being like, all right, I'm going to gatekeep this information because it's just great.
Well, the other method is booking. So the Amex Platinum, not to make this a credit podcast, but it gives you 5x points on hotels and I think travel. So I don't know. Like, would you want to use the points for that? Or do you want to use the Amex Platinum and get 5x points? I'm not there yet. You know, we got a lot to learn still.
Our version of this too is I'm a huge Delta Amex fan. We are going to be going to Scotland this year. Buy one, get one free flights. So pay for one, get two
Through Delta.
through Delta. Yeah.
Interesting.
They have like a limitless companion fare.
Damn, that's cool.
Any class, by the way. So we're going to swipe the card and you will find us up there and we'll be the young guys.
Well, most of the Amex points domestically, they transfer to Delta. So I fly Delta typically, but I went to Europe with the fiance for a wedding and dude, I booked them really last minute. So we had like a layover, but we had some sick lay flat seats going to Switzerland and then Italy. So it's worth it, dude. I flew to Japan last year in March and on the way there, I had the mid tier seats. On the way back, because the day before I had booked the wrong flight, the day before I had to rebook. On the way back, I had the standard economy for like 13, 14 hours. Brutal, dude. It was brutal.
Legalized prison.
Yeah. So, shoot. That's all our sales topics.
That's it. We'll see you next week.
Cool. See y'all later.
See ya.
All right, guys. That was the podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it as much as the last one and as much as the next one. If there's anything that you guys would like to see in particular, always drop a comment. If you hate the podcast, drop a comment. It lets us know that we need to get better. But if you love the podcast, also drop a comment. Do a like, do a subscribe, do all that stuff. If you're on Spotify or Apple, we'd love a good rating from you guys. We appreciate you guys listening. You know, we're very early. We got a lot of things changing in the process here, but it's exciting and we're stoked to bring it to you guys. So again, thank you for tuning in. Before we get out of here, go down below to that first link in description. Get on our free newsletter if you're not. I don't know how many of these episodes you have to listen to before you actually go down below, take 30 seconds and get on our free newsletter. It's better than the podcast. I'll just be real. I don't know if I'm meant to be a podcast host, but I think I can cook up a mean newsletter, and that's what I want to send to you. So go down below, first link in the description. And that's it for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.